Good morning, drummers. It's been a while. I've been very busy with a bunch of computer science stuff. Last week, I presented at a conference 3 times, and then I hosted a computer science professional development summit. So I was busy, but we're back at it again. So we're going to be working on some of the free drumming stuff on my website, jaredoleary.com/drum. Over 1,600 hours of free drumming content. Keep you and I busy for a while. And because, I have not drummed in forever, I need to warm up. And then I'm going to stretch and massage. And then I'm just going to have some fun playing some different stuff today. Just getting the blood flowing in the hands. Tomorrow I'll actually resume just like practicing. But today we're going to see how the hands feel. It's been a while. And they feel tight. Let's go ahead and warm up with Rodeo. And we'll just start off at a nice comfy tempo. So we'll start off at 100. Boop, 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 boop. All right. Full speed. This is a variation on gallop. Was rough, but it's been 2 weeks since I've drummed at all. Haven't drummed off stream, so good enough. All right, we are gonna go into the timestamps. By the way, all these play alongs, you just go into here and then you can just jump to wherever you want to be on there, and you can see that. Streamlabs, by the way, has crashed on me 3 or 4 times. I've been doing gaming streaming. Okay. It looks like it's still working. Into the timestamps. Yay! Okay. It did a weird thing that it previously indicated that it had crashed, so. Good! We're still up and running. And let me pull that up, and that, and then that, and then that, and then we're good. Okay. Cool. So now we're going to go up to 105. So I'm doing the timestamps and can just jump to it. If it's got a 0 or a 5 at the end of it, it'll give you a few seconds to kind of get yourself situated before it does the tap off. Otherwise, every single one of the other ones, it'll just immediately start the tap off. Whoops. Brain fart. How you doing, doggo? It's been a while since I drummed. Glad to see you stopping in. Okay, let's move that. There we go. I'm too far back. There we go. Okay, there we go. Been a while since I've done a drum stream. All right, yeah, my hands feel not so great. Looking forward to the stretch and massage here in a minute. Let's try 110. Bike ride. That's cool. I think Minnie would love a bike ride. If she's in one of those little side seat carts. Give her a little helmet, put some goggles on her. She would love that. right now, instead, she's just, on top of her 2-story doggo fort, looking out the window, checking in on all the cats outside. Making sure they're staying in a line. In line, not in a line. They're all lined up. How big is Minnie? She's a little dachshund. So she's about, drumsticks for reference, probably almost 2 drumsticks in length, about that long. But then she's short. She's a little dog. Like, you can't see that from that angle. I don't know how many pounds she is, like 20, 22, something like that. Not huge. Small little dog, long-haired, dachshund. All right, let's stretch and massage. I need this. We're going to take our time. All right, so the first thing that I like to do is a stretch that my first drum teacher taught me. So you hold it here, and you pull in, and you pull in. Ah, yeah. Whew. Oh, my left arm is tight. And the left hand is tight as well. We need to go get that checked out. I was like massaging it and whatnot, but I think I may have messed it up working out. If you do traditional, hold it here and then rotate the other direction and hold it there. I don't do that anymore. Okay, now we're gonna do the underside. So I'm gonna do both at the same time. I'm gonna do it on the pad and just kind of put some pressure on it. Not a ton of weight. Yeah, that's nice. We had a lab who died, actually this time a year ago. Her name is Madam, and she liked to do stuff like that, but Minnie is like 14 years old and got little short legs, so she's a slow runner. But yeah, it was fun. I used to jog with Madam a lot on a leash. She liked it. All right, now I'm going to stretch the top side. Oh, yeah. Could do one at a time like this, or you could do 2 at a time. You could even do these on the wall. If you do this one, it'll stretch the underside. The lower you go, the deeper the stretch. Or the higher you go, the deeper the stretch on the other side. Rip is right. All right, let's do that. I got her in, like, what was that, 2007, 2008? So she lived a long life. Yeah, Simon. So the goal is to try and prevent some injury and whatnot, and just to loosen everything up. So I do this every single time I do a practice stream, and today, because it's been a couple weeks since I drummed, I definitely need it. But it helps with like just your hands feeling healthy, and then it also just makes it so it like prevents injuries and whatnot. Because I had all sorts of injuries. So I had bursitis of the elbow from like working out too much and doing too much drumming, so it like inflated to the point where like you couldn't even see the elbow anymore, all the way up to the wrist. Like it was bad. I've had a popped vein. I had like early signs of tendonitis, etc. This is all when I had like really bad technique when I first like was starting to drum, and yeah, so helps with that. Yeah, so I recommend it. Madam is a nice name. Yeah, so Doggo, her full name is Mademoiselle Stinky Farts. So that's her full name, because she had really bad farts. So that's one thing I don't miss. But if I could bring her back, I would accept the farts. I'm stretching the fingers, by the way, thumb to thumb. And then we had another dog named Sadie Bobady O'Leary von Lichtenstein. That was her full name. Minnie's just Minnie. We call her Spoopy sometimes, which is like there was a Halloween decoration that was supposed to say spooky. And it was like misspelled. It had 2 P's instead of the K. So it was spoopy. So we started calling Minnie that. This year, we're going to dress her up for like, put a little like sheet on her, like, and cut out little eyes and then a thing for her nose and make her a little ghost dog. Halloween's actually our anniversary. This will be 8 years married together. Which, wow, time flies. Okay, now that I've stretched, now I'm going to actually massage to help loosen things up. Oh my goodness. Oh, I need this. I just got something in my eye. How? I'm just standing here. Ugh. Oh, man. It was a bummer how busy I've been this last week. Like, wasn't able to do the gaming stuff in the mornings. But, I mean, different seasons. I do like, all sorts of content creation. Like, on my website, you'll see a ton of drumming stuff. But you'll see a ton of gaming stuff and a ton of computer science stuff. And this conference that I was presenting at was like, happens once a year. So it's like, all right, I'm going to be busy for a couple weeks and then I don't have to worry about that for a while. The spider costume. Yeah. With little sticks. That's funny. Yeah, just get some black electrical tape instead of the white electrical tape, and then just have it like dangling off of her. Then she'll be extra clicky clacky when she runs around. With these, like, in our old place we had carpet, and so like now with the floors being like that vinyl plank or whatever, I hear all the click 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 click, like wakes me up. So I have to use earplugs, a noise machine, and keep her out of the room. Otherwise, it wakes me up. No good. Okay. Now I'm going to massage the hand with the fingers, and then the thumb is going to massage the palm. So just trying to loosen everything up. And my left hand is so tight. But I want to get a good workout in, so I think I keep like re-injuring it. I think it's on the ring dips that I do. Because it puts a lot of pressure on here. Yes, I totally agree. Phone off, totally important. So I have the phone, it goes to bedtime mode automatically. And in bedtime mode, it prevents you from receiving any notifications, which I turn those off anyways. But the text and phone calls is like the only notifications I keep. So it prevents that from happening. And it's just, yeah. I also have it so that like the blue light turns on, or turns off rather. So that way it doesn't get in and like disrupt my sleep. Like I think that starts at like 7:30. I'm going to massage base the tip, by the way. So like I'm just, yeah, if I don't get full 8 hours of sleep like consistently, it's just, I get less productive. And yeah, lethargic, I guess. And I'm all about productivity, so that's no fun. Actually, one of the presentations that I did for the computer science conference was talking about like preventing burnout and like productivity and whatnot, which kind of go hand in hand depending on the angle you look at it. So that was fun. And those resources, can't speak, are actually on my website. Right here. If anyone's interested. So if you're on the drum page, which is likely the people who are watching the stream are on there, but if you go to the presentations, oh, that's weird. Interesting. Guess Squarespace is having some issues. But if you go here and then go to the preventing burnout, you can find this set of strategies that can like help you prevent burnout in like whatever career you're doing. We like made it focused on like computer science educators because that was the target audience. Jen Manley and I were presenting this, but yeah, it's helpful. And if you want to see any of the other presentations, all of them are here. It's like 100, something like that. but you have to like... Oh, the archive is gone. Wah, wah. All right, well. It'll come back. Maybe. All right. Now that we've massaged and stretched and all that stuff, let's play a little bit faster. And again today, because it's been forever since I drummed, we're just going to have some fun playing stuff. You can play along too. Or don't. Just get out the popcorn. Nice. Audio just completely died. That happened the last stream that I did too. Happened multiple times. I have no idea what's going on with Streamlabs. It's being wonky. Is the screen frozen? No. Okay. Well, cool. I can't hear this. What's going on? Okay, there we go. That's back. All right, well, that was wonky. So, when I was doing the long roll, I had like a random rim shot in there. And I was like, what? How did that happen? It like threw me off for the timing for it. So, cool. Well, I don't know how long that audio went out, but that was unfortunate. All right, 125. And I got like a little update on Friday, and I was like, cool, maybe that'll fix the audio issue that happened last week. Nope. Okay. Glad it was only for like 10 seconds. I had a stream one time where I did a drum stream where it was like, I was talking about like tenor crossovers, there's like a bunch of sweeps, all sorts of stuff. And it was like a really good stream. Like I had so much fun with it, but like nobody was engaging in the chat. And so when I went and watched the recording afterwards to review it, I had no audio at all, anywhere. It was 100% just not working. And it's because I had something covering up the gain meters, so, or the audio meters. All right, let's play something else. So that was a fun little warm-up, but there's, a bunch more to play here. Let's do a chop one. Let's have fun with one of these. I'm going to end, I think, with the 5/4 spree. It is my absolute favorite. So let's go ahead and do Blue Devils 99, old school. Like, we're talking when I first started drumming. Shellmore. Way back, let's see, 1999. That was my fall semester of high school. Nice, I feel old. Oh, cool, it stopped. There we go. I had a girl. Whoops. Brain fart. Ugh. That was horrible. Man, my left hand is just off. And I had the brain fart. Let's actually slow this one down. I'm gonna work it up. Speed and evenness with single strokes. Oh. 30-second strokes, so they're not very even. Yeah. Here, I'll show you, and then I'll come back to this terrible rendition of 99 Shopping Spree. So if you go down to the technique stuff, my favorite one to work on is the stick control variations with filler. So like this one in particular is my favorite. So I'll talk through it. So it starts off normal, stick control, and then you fill in the same pattern. And then a triplet version. Triplet, etc. And so it does this with every single one of the the normal variations that you'd have on a stick control, with the the diddles, and then it does the inverted diddles or inverted roll for the last two lines. So these stick control variations with filler are my two favorite ones. The advanced one is so much fun to play. I'll actually probably play that in a little bit. And then there's the normal stick control without the advanced stuff that also has the filler. And I'm planning on in the future writing out some triplet versions of these. So stay tuned for some more of those. But I'd recommend that. Another thing you can actually do is any one of these 16th note diddle exercises or the triplet variations, you can actually, instead of playing them as diddles, just single the whole thing. So the exercise I was playing earlier, just single it instead of playing it with the actual sticking. Those are two ways that I'd recommend working up a single stroke. Speed. Also, it depends on what kind of technique you use. So for me, it's the wrist stroke as opposed to the finger stroke. So when I'm playing, I'm not focusing on this. But finger is an approach that a lot of people use for speed, especially for single strokes. So you could work up just isolating your finger strokes or using a push-pull technique. So those are kind of the two things that people will do for speed. Unfortunately, the push-pull kind of makes it a little inconsistent with the playing, at least from what I've experienced and seen. So that's why I'm not a huge fan of push-pull when it comes to rudimental stuff. It just makes things a little bit dirtier, and why I focus on the wrist, because it gives you more sound, more power, etc. Yeah, so 1 BPM at a time. Another way that you can do it is also you can speed up your single strokes by playing with slightly heavier sticks. These are the Hardeman hammers, so they're heavier than my normal Hardemans. But if you can also play on a softer surface. So if you do single strokes, you can play it on your leg. You can play it on your forearms. This will hurt. You can do it traditional if you do it this way. Whoops, sorry, didn't mean to hit the mic. There's all sorts of things that you can do to kind of make the surface softer, or you could put a towel on here. So that's something that I've demonstrated in some other streams where I'll show how to play quiet, but the more resistance you have, the more it forces you kind of use your muscles to do that. If you're doing a wrist technique, by the way, there's a really weird technique called praying mantis. Ugh, my nose is itchy. So the praying mantis technique, you play with your wrist up like this. So if you're holding your wrist here, it's like you had a string and you just kind of lift up, and then you play with your wrist like this. And it looks super weird. But if you just play 16th notes, just doing that, or like this, so you look like a T-Rex trying to drum poorly. This actually really works on the power and the strength, the muscles related to nice consistent taps. So this was something that I know Murray Gussick was teaching Vanguard way back in the day, the early 2000s. So they were doing this approach just to isolate out the muscle movements and to increase the power and strength and speed and whatnot of the low interior taps to make those very, very consistent. Yeah, what's cool about percussion is there's so many different techniques and whatnot that people can use. So, and in fact, I get a ton of comments. I actually got one this weekend of people who are very opinionated about different ways of playing. And so on these streams, when I'm just kind of sharing, here's an idea. It's one of 100 ways that you could potentially play or even describe something. So it's fascinating how much people just pick apart. You described it this way. That's not how you're supposed to describe it. And it's dude, I can describe it a dozen different ways. Become better at teaching, friend. Yeah, the praying mantis thing, do it for like a few minutes. Just working on it this way. And the goal is to keep the fingers as relaxed as possible. You don't want tension when you're doing this because it's going to hurt. But it's something that I've demonstrated on some streams before. Like if you do 16th note pyramids, so if you just do, and then doubles, and then fours, 8, and then 16, 32, however high up you go with that. That was the exercise that we specifically used when Murray Gussick was teaching that was, okay, so take your wrists, you're playing here, lift it up like by the, as if it was a string pulling it up, and you have to like scoot closer to your pad, and you look really goofy while doing this, but it does work. Like if you do this for a few minutes, just like playing with this like praying mantis technique, and then you go back to normal taps, it's just like a big beefy like strength kind of sound. I was just quoting some social media dude. Power, strength. Anyways, good questions, but let's get back to having myself with Blue Devil's 99 shopping spree. I need to slow this down. Got a thumbs up, yeah. Speaking of, people like this one apparently. I've got like several hundred, if not 1,000 different play-alongs, so tons of stuff to keep people busy. All right, let's try this again. Because that playthrough is not ideal. By the way, if anyone's considering creating content online, whatever kind of content, don't argue with people on the internet. It's a waste of your time. Ask me how I know. They will get really in the trenches about how they are 100% right, and they know everything about what you think. Don't waste your time. Just ignore them. I wanted to add in like an extra diddle here. Turn it into a paradiddle diddle on the very last line. That's not how it goes, Jared. Oh, thanks. All right, let's try 140. I mean, since it's been like, what, 2 weeks since I played? Not too bad, but... Oh no, get out of the fire extinguisher. Simon, are you okay? Rim shot. Extra flavor. My left hand just like tightened up and it was a little late. So I was like, I get it. Perfect. All right, let's find the full breaking point here. It's probably going to be this one. I mean, we could argue that 140 was the breaking point. Why does my nose get so itchy when I do my drum streams in the morning? Well, hey, that was better than 140, but hands still don't feel great. That's okay. Cool, that's a fun one. I like it. I love it. I want some more of it. I'm skipping the drum chart stuff. I'll do that on Wednesday. Drum kit is not at all even close to my specialty, but it's fun. Let's see. Let's do a rudiment after an accent. That'd be fun. Let's do cheese or Flam 5s. Let's do Flam 5s. Okay, so there's a bunch of grid variations, like over 600 now, I think. No, went to the wrong spot. Yeah, so 259 triplet, 364, not 600. Cool, yeah, plenty to keep you busy. But for the Flam 5 variations, there are currently 18 of them. And so you can do some fun variations where you move the rudiment around and put it like after the accent. So Flam 5 after an accent, this one. As it slowly loads. Oh no, we're not starting there. No, no, no. All right, 120. Here we go. So normal 4-2-1 grid, but you're moving the rudiment behind the accent. It's fun, right? If you don't think so, that's okay. Agree to disagree. When in Rome. 130. Still tight here. Cool. The taps are a little high, so I'm going to try and lower it this time. Tomorrow, figure out what I'm going to specifically refine, but it'll be an actual practice stream where I work on that grind. Success. 150. Here we go. Oh, my dog is so adorable. Yeah, the hard part is keeping those grace notes down. My wife is named Grace and is also a percussionist, so I can't imagine the number of jokes she's gotten about grace notes. That was fun. I enjoyed it. I hope you enjoyed today's ASMR drum stream. A quick word from today's sponsor, water. Alright, let's do a 16th note version. This time I'm going to do a before accent. So we just did after an accent, but there's also variations where you put the rudiment before the accent. And I'm actually going to do a backward version of grid. So instead of 4-2-1, we're going to do 1-2-4, and it flips the accent pattern around. And let's do it with cheeses, and we'll do cheese before 1-2-4. Have I done this before? I don't think so. So I was about to say, let's try 120. Thinking of like the triplet speed. No. We're not gonna start with 120 on here. Not with 16th note. Let's do a nice comfy 80, maybe? Venturing into new territory. I can't speak. That was fun. Oh, there should have been a cheese on the very last note that I guess it depends on if you release with an accent. In this case, I guess you wouldn't. So no, I did write it correctly. Okay. Guess it's debatable. Let's see. Let's jump up by 10, and then I probably need to jump up by 5s after that. We'll find out. This morning's episode of Jared Hasn't Drummed in a While. I don't know why, but I didn't think the cheese was on the right hand. I was like, wait, what? And it just like totally threw me off. Sorry. I just totally had a brain fart there. I was in a convocation once. This was during my undergrad, and convocation was like the entire school of music gets together and watches people perform. And there was a person who was playing a string instrument and was up there playing this phenomenal solo, and got to a point where he messed up on something, and he stopped playing. And then paused for a moment and was like, wait, what is that part? And so he jumped back a couple measures and he tried it again. And then got to that same spot and he just forgot it again. And so then he tried it again, went back even further and tried to basically running leap into it and dropped it again, completely forgot the part. And so he just did a quick bow and walked off the stage. And this was in front of the entire school of music. So, a few hundred people? I can't imagine what that feels like. But I can't imagine mistakes happening. So during my recital, during my undergrad, we did a sound check before. I did this multi-percussion piece. It was kind of a cool piece for timpani and other instruments. And it was very contemporary. You play on the bowls, you play with your hands, as if the timpani was bongos or whatever. Or congas, all sorts of really cool stuff. And it had a track that you played along to with the speakers. And so we did a sound check beforehand and just make sure the volume was good and I could hear it, etc. And so when I went out and started playing it, we started the... So when I'm out there, actually ready to go and it's got this weird, it's constantly changing the meter. The first whole page, every other measure is a completely different meter. And the person who was running the stage had pressed the pause button rather than the stop button. So it started 15 seconds into where we left off on the sound check. And so where we were going, I'm trying to improvise. I have no idea what the meter is because I don't know where it's at in the music. I forgot where I had stopped when we were doing the sound check, etc. And then finally found a big point after just improvising stuff okay, here's where we're at in the music. And was able to pick it up. So that was a memorable moment during my recital. So survived. Probably should have just hey, let's just stop and start over. But yeah, it was good times. Anyways, story time with Jared. All right, let's go up by 5. And this time, we won't press the pause button. We won't start midway through. So one of my professors came up to me afterwards, and he was like realized what happened like immediately because like he knew the piece very well, and he's like, well, this is going to be interesting. That was his thought when it started, because he knew like the first page was just like not going to be able to figure out what meter we're on or what measure. This is actually like better than I thought I was gonna go. Let's try 110, and then I think I want to play the advanced stick control with filler. That sounds tasty. Extra rim shot. It was interesting. I just saw a bunch of hearts appear in the YouTube chat, so I don't know how that happened, but that's interesting. Good times. Whoever did that, thank you for the heart. Maybe it was YouTube. It's like, hey, you make a lot of videos. Thank you for making content for our website. Whoa. Added an extra one. Interesting. Yeah. How you doing that? Is there there's a plus sign. Okay, I can start a Q&A or start a poll. Start a poll. Yes or no? Yes. Oh, I can't even click on my vote? That's funny. I'm not allowed to vote? I want to vote. That's so random. Add a reaction. What on earth is this thing? Game over. Experimenting here. No. That's not... I have no idea how you did it. Magic. Maybe I don't have, like, the ability, because this is, like, a condensed chat. Like, it doesn't show the full thing. Either way. Cool. That was fun. Not. Why aren't you that person? Or are you actually that person and you're just trying to fake it, pretend like you're not? Mm-hmm. I'm on to you. All right, let's attempt this. This will be interesting. I gotta go into focus mode here. No! No! Let's try this again. With the power of friendship. You have no relation to that person? I'd say that too if I was Jared in disguise. Not Jared O'Leary. Woo! Alright, cool. Well, that was interesting. It was fun. We're gonna go into the technique thing, and I'm gonna do the thing that I mentioned earlier. So stick control variations. We're gonna do the advanced one with filler, so it does duple and triple feel, and we're going to slow this one down to 100 since my hands are feeling off. And we'll just like speed her up and see what happens. And then I'm going to play 5/4 Velvet Night Shopping Spree, my absolute favorite chop exercise or spree. Nice, that's a fun one, right? The poll says yes. I guess everyone agrees, 100%. Can I end the poll? I can end the poll. Magic. Everyone agreed. All won. All right. 110 now. What pad am I using? Good question. I'll actually show you how you can quickly find any of the stuff I'm using. So if you go to my website, you go to /gear, or if you are on the drumming content area and then go to gear I use, this takes you the same thing. But if you click on percussion, then you can find the different type of audio, books, hardware, practice pads, and sticks that I use. So for the practice pads, the one that I'm using on top is the drum pad with the rim. This is off-world. And then underneath it, I have the large tenor pad for the quadro pad. And then underneath that, I have a small tenor pad. So it's a tenor pad underneath a tenor pad to give it a better height. So that's what I use. And then for sticks, you can find them here. The ones that I'm using right now are the Hardeman hammers, which are like extra heavy. And they're double taped. So they're 44% heavier than my normal sticks. I measured them on stream one time. That's why I know. You're welcome. By the way, I've had these pads for like at least 15 years, so They last. They're worth the investment. Like the quadrupad, I probably got this in the early 2000s. Yeah, so this one's like almost 20 years old. And then the off-world pad that I also showed you, I've had that one for at least 15 years. So they're more expensive pads, but like they can last as long as you take care of them and whatnot. Let's try 120. Faster than any person has ever played before. That's a joke, internet. Over 20 years. Started in 98 in 8th grade. Whoa. Little brain fart there. Yeah, so just in case the drumming was too loud. I started in 8th grade, and that was 1998, fall of 98. That's forever ago. Just turned 38. Wow. I'm just that guy. I'm the guy that plays forever and ever until the day that's never. Sorry, I'm quoting a song. An old song, too, on the Godzilla soundtrack. Puff Daddy. At least that's what he's called back then. Okay, so we're gonna do this one. 5-4. The Overnight Shopping Spree, one of my favorites. Whee! We're not gonna start at that speed. Go into the description of any one of these timestamps, and then jump to a BPM. How long have you been playing, by the way? Have you been playing longer? You're like, yes, I'm 15 years old, and I've been playing for 40 years. Take that, Jared. Hey, don't need to compete. Went into a hyperbolic chamber. Came out with 40 years of experience. You're center snare now. Congrats, dude. You started last year. Yeah, so I started in 8th grade and was not great. And then my freshman year of high school, I was so bad that people were making fun of me for it and like yelled at me in rehearsal one time because I had just a part where I was keeping the beat and I couldn't do it. And so after I got yelled at, I was like, okay, well, I'm going to go practice. And so then I practiced several hours a day. And then sophomore year, I became first chair of every ensemble, band, and orchestra. And then march snare, traditional, junior year and senior year. And then I went on to DCI. Well, technically I did that like sophomore year on. I did 5 years in academy. Then I got into a car accident and I couldn't march my last 2. So I would have had 7 years of marching. But yeah, so I was terrible when I started. And then I got a full ride to do percussion performance, even though I was a music ed major. So practice, that's the key. Every student that I've had that has gotten a scholarship for music has practiced a lot. That was fun. I liked it. If you want to play to that, or, one of the several hundred free exercises, jaredoleary.com/drum. There's a lot of free stuff on here. Bunch of bass stuff. I keep adding a new one every 3 days. And then in between those, I add in a 16th note and a triplet variation. Chop speed. Struggling to play double paradiddles at around 200 beats a minute. Yeah, so first of all, to speed up anything, you gotta slow it down. Which I didn't demonstrate that in today's stream because today I was just trying to get my hands flowing again. But whenever I'm doing the actual practice streams, actually I can show you. So if you go here and you go to live stream drum practice sessions, you'll see, I was working on 5-stroke timing right here. And if you look at this one, and if we mute myself, you can see in the timestamps that I warmed up, I stretched and massage, I did a post warm-up, and then I spent the majority of the stream just doing 5-stroke timing. Until the very end, I chopped out. Actually, with the same exercise. Interesting. Now, when I'm doing this, I'm slowing this down. So this was the second stream of this, so I was starting around 60. But the stream prior to that, where I was refining the 5-stroke timing, I started all the way down here, so at 40. So you can see me playing through this, and then we go a few minutes later, I'm at 41, 43. I'm going 1 BPM at a time. Why am I doing this? It's actually going to make it so that 1, rhythmically it sounds better. 2, it actually works on your speed if you are practicing this stuff slow as if you were actually playing through it fast with a fast technique. So when I'm breaking this stuff down, I will slow this down and refine every one of the motions in the stroke and just really try and get everything as controlled as possible. And then I slowly speed it up to whatever the speed is. That's the majority of the practice session that I do. However, about 5 to 10% of my practice session is intentionally trying to find a breaking point, a chopping out point, with whatever it is I'm trying to work on, and push my brain and my hands to think and play a little bit faster than I actually can. So let's say 200 beats a minute is your breaking point. If I were you, I would spend probably 80% of my time working at 40 beats a minute and really refining that technique and slowly speeding this up. This was introduced to me by Jeff Queen, who's a 4-time world champion snare drummer. So it works. Dude knows what he's talking about. And then the end of my practice session, I would spend 5-10% of my time specifically going faster than 200. So if 200 is your breaking point, try and find a way to get past that. Another thing that you can do is you can actually like break apart the rudiment into something. So I've talked about this in other streams before with like paradiddles. So that is, for whatever reason, like a thing that people really focus on with like drum kit is playing paradiddles. So paradiddles, you could sit here and work on just playing paradiddles over and over, and you break it down into larger groups. 1, 2, 3, 4, right, left, instead of thinking right, left, right, right, left, right, left, left, right, left, right, right, left, right, left, left. So as you go faster with this, you're thinking right, left, 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 right, left while you're playing this, or even just right, etc. Ooh, that was bad. Another way that you can do it is, instead of like thinking of like the chunking and like making them into one group of like 4 or 6 notes, however many you're doing it. I have 6 fingers. Is you can actually break down the rudiment itself and isolate some things out. So like paradiddles, if that's like a thing that you're working on, you can break it down into the second half and just work that up. However fast you can do that is the fastest that you're going to be able to play paradiddles, because that's the notes 1, 3, and 4. And then flip it to the front half so that you play. So again, you're just leaving off basically one note at a time. However fast you can play those is however fast you can play your paradiddles. You can even like create exercises for that. So you could like, I don't know, paradiddle, first half, paradiddle, and then second half, etc. You can do that with paradiddle diddles. Or whatever. Break it down however you want to do that. But those are some different ways that you can specifically work on it. Main point is work on it slow and refine the technique, the things that are slowing you down, while also spending a smaller portion of your time intentionally pushing your hands and brains to think and play a little faster. The hand part is like an obvious, like, well, duh, my hands need to be able to play faster. But it's also a mental thing. So if like you try and mentally practice and like use high verisimilitude, which means like very lifelike visualization of something. If you go with that with your playing and you like mentally vision yourself playing through this, then it can actually like show some gains. Like there's been some research on this, which by the way, I have a PhD in music education, so I'm super nerdy about like research side of things. But so I do actually know some things sometimes. But there has been some research on mental practice and imagery and whatnot, and it's about 80% as effective as actually physically practicing. Yeah, so patience is definitely key, but if you find ways to like break things down and then refine over time, then you can get better with it. And the mental practice makes it so you can actually practice more than you can physically. So like when I was in class, I would actually be, instead of paying attention, I would be drumming in my head. And so using that mental practice made it so I could get in more hours than my peers, which again is why I was able to progress faster than people around me, because I was finding ways to not only practice in like physically with sticks, but I was actually able to practice outside of rehearsal. Patience is not key though. I respectfully disagree. As somebody who has like taught hundreds of musicians and thousands of students, patience is definitely key with practicing. What do you mean it's the drums? Ugh. Drums takes a ton of practice. As somebody who's been playing for what, 25 years? Something like that. But what do I know? All right. Anyways, hopefully that helps answers your question about that. But again, all this stuff you can find at jaredo'leary.com/drum. And that's how you can find all of this. And there's a bunch more actual like tips and whatnot inside of this drumming tips and shorts. So I take the moments that I kind of like unpack things and talk about stuff from these live streams, and I put them into tips. I can't speak. So there's a few hundred videos here you can check out. Like how to prep for drumline auditions. That's a way that you can learn some more about that, etc. So if you're interested, check it out. Plenty of content. Keep you busy. Oh, yes, you definitely will. It's just a matter of time practicing it. I dedicated a ton of time and effort into it. And yeah, that's what it takes. Like on Wednesday, you're going to hear me completely have myself on the drum kit because I'm not great at that yet. But I know what it takes to get good. And so I'm comfortable like practicing that stuff publicly and showing people here's how I am bad and how I'm trying to get better. But I'm going to call it here. I thank everybody for stopping by, and you are very welcome. I'm glad I could help you. And yeah, I'll be on tonight doing some Fortnite, and then tomorrow I'm doing an actual technique and chop breakdown. So you can find that schedule on /schedule and see what I'm doing when I'm doing next. But anyways, thank you again, everybody. Goodbye.